I feel like we've been really like honing in these energies. Like
You feel it, right?
I feel like a
I
Pisces
feel
right
myself
now.
crying. I felt it in my chest. I was like, I think I'm about to cry on film. I don't know why. Because I don't think I knew the signs as well until we started talking about it. But then when you were like, no, we're just channeling the energy, like, thank you, planets, for like having a conversation in the room with us. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us here. My name is Tianee.
And I'm Taylor.
Welcome to Inner Orbit, your tool for navigating the energetic world around you.
We're excited to be back. On the last episode, we walked through the first 6 signs of the zodiac. So that's Aries through Virgo. And today we're picking back up with Libra. On the last episode, we also talked a lot about like elements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
modalities, planet, rulership, and houses. And we're just going to keep the conversation going. Let's just get right into it. Yeah.
Right into Libra.
Oof. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Libra.
Yes.
All right. Our element is air, and
Mhm.
our modality is cardinal.
Okay.
I think that's a really, really fun mix.
Strong combo.
I think so.
Yeah.
Strong sign.
Yeah.
Our house that we rule over is our seventh house, and the planet that rules over Libra is Venus. Our seventh house rules our partnerships, open enemies, contracts. It also rules sometimes our fashion, the way that we work with others. So it's our diplomatic and well-balanced sign as well. What do you think about just the overall feel and energy of Libra with having that air and cardinal
And when you
mix?
say ruled by Venus, beauty, and when you say seventh house, I often think of relationships first and foremost. I really
Yes.
do think of a lot of beauty and harmony and like love and connection. Like you could feel the beauty coming from Libra,
Mm.
the air of what all the other air signs have, which is like being able to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then Libra's sign are the scales. It's justice oriented. So in an ideal evolved fashion, Libra is able to see all sides, be able to bring people together by helping others to see all sides, and ultimately have harmony and love and all the beautiful things in the world. And that's of
Right.
course the most evolved.
Yeah.
What do you think of?
I think having a cardinal air sign is honestly a really beautiful thing because when you're able to intellectualize your thoughts and ideas,
Yeah.
but get other people on board. So like when we talk about the cardinal energy of like Aries being this like fire starter, it can come off abrasive.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, why aren't y'all all feeling fired up like I am?
Yeah.
And then like Cancer, where it's that emotional cardinal, like, are you not feeling what I'm feeling?
Yeah.
And then we get to Libra, and it's not so much like, why isn't what I want happening? It's more so like, well, how do I work with you so that we can both achieve the same goal?
Yes.
And I think that's just so beautiful for an air sign to be able to embody this cooperative nature.
Yes.
And no wonder this energy is used in like justice systems.
Yes.
And no wonder it's needed for relationships. Like,
Yes.
who thought an air sign would have rulership over relationships?
The non-committal hard to pin down.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like you would reserve that more for like maybe like a water
Yeah.
type thing, which is a little Scorpion, but like having an air sign, it brings the intellectualism to like, you need to also intellectually be at the same baseline. Our understanding of other ideas and thought patterns to be able to even sustain any form of relationship, because we have contracts that come into play within that seventh house as well. I have not actually been a fan of Libra until having this discussion.
Oh,
As I was talking through
real
it,
time.
no,
it's
hell
quite
yeah.
beautiful. I wouldn't have guessed because we've been pretty complimentary so far.
I think so. I think it's because I've low-key been jealous of Libra.
Oh,
It's the shadow aspect of me.
interesting.
I think
What's
it's
that
'cause
trigger?
the trigger is like Libras are so friendly. They
Mm.
always have beautiful things around them. And as a Taurus, I feel like have that shadow aspect that feels like I have to work for the things that I accumulate
Yeah.
and materialize and possess.
Yeah.
Whereas for Libras, it's sort of just baseline natural for them. They have beautiful friends. They have beautiful clothes. I'm not to sound like a hater here or anything like that, but like I've always felt like if there was any sign that I wanted to be, it would be a Libra.
Oh, that's really fascinating. Maybe we add that to the journal prompts. What sign do you wish you could be and why? But it is fascinating to hear you say that because both Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus.
Mm-hmm.
So we both have that like beautiful component, but you feel that there's kind of like this more of like this work associated with
That
getting it
Taurans
with
have to do.
Taurus.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe it is time to pivot to the shadows to even it out.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side, and I think all these things are so beautiful, and quite frankly, when we look at the world around us, like Libra energy, we need you, rise. But then also make sure you work on any shadow elements that appear so that we can get the best of you. Because when you think about two sides, very opposite of Taurian actually, which is so like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm decisive and I'm dogmatic about it. A Libra shadow can be indecision. Like
Yes.
severe indecision.
Yes.
And again, it's very genuine because they are genuinely seeing both sides. It almost like Gemini, their fellow air.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're truly seeing both sides. So it is hard. It really is like, well, I can see that and I can see that. So why must I make a decision? That's where the air gets really airy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they can kind of come across much like Gemini. I'm kind of seeing a trend now as I'm
the air
talking that the
signs.
air signs kind of accidentally hurt people's feelings a lot. You're welcome that you have it out now. It's accidental. But they can come across as two-faced or wishy-washy. And I really use the words come across on purpose because, again, I think it's very genuine.
It's not the intention.
It's not like they didn't mean it when they said it necessarily. Obviously, you can have severe shadow. But I would say in general, there's this like, I'm talking to you. Maybe you're in a conflict with our fellow friend. I totally understand your side. And I'm talking to you and I'm validating you. But then I talk to our other friend and I also see their side. And those two friends might be like, well, that was really two-faced of you. Like how can you agree with both of us? Pick a lane, don't be Switzerland.
Yeah.
But Libra can often be Switzerland.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like really interesting what you bring up where it's like maybe that's society's shadow seeing that Libran trait as being two-faced because we have not evolved as a society to be able to conceptualize that somebody can have a different opinion than you.
Hey.
And there's no like right or wrong or anything like that. And so maybe, no, Librans be doing that too, though. So let me I almost gave you an out, but we're not going to do that. And with that ability to be kind of multifaceted in thought, like not making a decision is a decision. And I think that that's something that Libran energy needs to understand. Just because you can be a little bit more fluid in thought, you shouldn't enable yourself to not stick to something.
And I'll share a reference for the maybe two people who watch Vanderpump Rules with me. Tom Schwartz is a triple Libra. So this man on this show this show's been on for over 10 seasons, like over a decade of these people's lives. This man cannot make a decision for the life of him across love and life and friendship and work. So again, it's like sun, moon, rising, Libra, and really good person, or like kind person. Most people like being around him. He validates anyone he's talking to.
Yeah.
But then his, now ex-wife felt like she was never prioritized, that he never defended her. He would work a job like a bartending shift for 2 seconds and like run away because he was scared. It's funny if you know what I'm talking about. Like that's the extreme shadow.
That's such an air thing to do.
Such extreme shadow.
I'm just going to move on.
Yes.
And that's funny. Like when we talk about Mercury, like how dare you also rule an earth sign? Like Venus, like how did you get into air sign scope of things with being so slow moving?
Yeah.
And you kind of, you know what? I'm not so jealous of Librans. Like,
okay. Well, we are, everything has its positive and negative.
It does, but that's pretty tough. Because it's like, Venus, what are you doing? Why didn't you give Librans that too?
And on the last episode, I feel like we gave decent advice to people who struggle with Virgo energy, right? Like, and I feel like it could apply here too. I think there's so much beauty. Like you said, the world needs more of people holding multiple things to be true at once that seem contradictory. If you're a Libra and you struggle with indecision, I think you do kind of need to figure out what areas of life do I want forward progression in? What areas of life do I need to make commitments in? But then give yourself compassion and freedom to not have to make decisions. And right? Because like,
that's
to advance the seventh house of relationships, like that man with his now ex-wife, he did need to make a commitment.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really good map out what it is you really care to progress and have a strong opinion on, and then give yourself a ton of freedom to be airy with everything else.
It's kind of like, again, dualistic to be this house of like signing contracts, which is coming into a commitment, coming into a decision, even being seen as the house of marriage, but not being able to make these decisions at the same time. I wonder if like there's this fear with that energy showing up of, but what if?
Yeah.
Being an air sign and seeing so many different vantage points, it's like you're creating scenarios that are not reality yet and not just dealing with what's front facing. And then also, are you creating the compulsion to make a decision? What if you don't even need to make a decision and you're putting that pressure on yourself and you're creating these loops of like, I'm indecisive, when it's like nobody asked you to make a decision right now. Just take the
Yes.
information in.
Take it in, take a breath. And I think we've talked before about the burden that Libras can sometimes feel, that like that self-sacrificial quality that
Yes.
Librans can feel.
Yeah.
What do you like? Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Again, goes back to the indecision where because you feel burdened by keeping everybody else's opinions and being so diplomatic, because that's such a positive quality or an evolved quality of a Libra. Libran energy is being able to be so diplomatic and fluent in speech. Libras are great storytellers. They're great transcribers, great linguists. They are able to speak many different languages at an evolved capacity, able to bridge the gaps between nations and people. That can feel so burdensome because it's kind of like, but what about me too? You're holding space for so many truths at one time that you have a difficult time seeing what your own is. And maybe that's why Librans have the mode of expression within their art.
Yeah.
Every outfit I pick out is an expression of me. Every picture I draw, every poem I write. I feel most me when I don't have to manage the thoughts of other people. I think that's where that self-sacrificial nature comes into play sometimes.
Yeah.
They've been tasked. I mean, relationships is how the world kind of keeps turning round. That's a very huge task.
Yeah. So thank you, Libra.
Thank you.
And I think it's nice to add, because Tom Schwartz is not like the most favorable. Sir David Attenborough. So he like did Planet Earth and things like that. Like what a beautiful expression of Libra, caring for our Earth, caring for improving the world around us and expressing it through art. So I feel like that's a beautiful, like as we've been going through these episodes, actually, I love the idea of like, which of these people that we throw out there are like role models?
Yeah.
And which are like, hey, let's not be a Schwartz, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that we've been showing that nature.
Yeah.
And when you bring in like, especially environmentalism
Yeah.
and planet, like bridging the gap between scientific work and also like public knowledge.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful representation of that. Venus and Serena Williams are also Libras.
Oh my gosh.
As well.
Was that? Hey, she's named Venus. Did they know what they were doing
on purpose?
Yeah.
I don't know. Also really great expressions of Libra at play as well. So if we can kick it over into our next sign.
Scorpio. I would say, don't you think that Scorpio and maybe Gemini are the two most like memed?
Yeah. I think Scorpio's just, it's either one or two things. Like, I feel like people are either really proud to be Scorpios and they just like wield it around.
And I love those people.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Other times it's like, oh, I need to stay away from a Scorpio.
Yeah.
Where do you like? I mean, we like all the signs.
We like all the signs. I actually have a lot of Scorpio risings in my life. And those are like really potent, powerful people to be around. Like you can kind of feel their potential. There's a lot of potential. I also know a lot of like fellow woo-woo girlies, which makes sense, that have a lot of Scorpio heaviness in their chart. So I feel like I relate to them a lot. But I also know Scorpios that are not working on themselves at all.
And that's scary.
And those are the ones
yes.
that can be a little challenging.
Yes.
To be really nice. But I think Scorpio's a really, really powerful one. And if you have Scorpio in your chart and you're listening to this, I think like this is a really fun one to lean into because there is so much potential and so much magic within you. You just really need to like harness yourself. Any water sign needs to work on boundaries. And so this is a water sign that's fixed.
Ooh, dangerous. Quick note, we both have our MCs in Scorpio.
Correct.
As well, like our career house, our
yes.
10th house in Scorpio. So like we harness that.
And we've never really shared, I think, exactly what MC means. But to your point, it's like it helps you understand persona. Your career and what you want to be.
Yeah.
And it would make sense that we are pursuing something even in this moment that has to do with our passions and spirituality,
Mysticism and occult.
mysticism.
Yeah.
And we have to do something that serves a purpose. Like Scorpios are very, very purpose driven,
Mm-hmm.
extremely passionate. I think that's why some people are really excited to be like, I'm a Scorpio, because they're like, I'm good in bed. It's like
Ooh.
very like
Yeah.
passionate and exciting.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's a really great one to have in that career area, because
Mm-hmm.
we want to do something that's
Yeah.
meaningful.
Yeah. We talk about the water aspect of having a fixed nature.
Mm-hmm.
Water wants to be fluid.
Yes.
And so being fixed, I think that aids in some of the repressive tendencies and
Yes.
explosive emotional volatility
Good
that you
point.
get with a Scorpio.
Yes.
And I think that's it on period. Like
There's a
yeah,
frustration.
there is a frustration with not being acknowledged, recognized. There's a lack of patience
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that comes from being like having to pretend, like they're not good pretenders
Mm-hmm.
at all. And I think that again, that comes from that they can feel the lack of their own fluidity in their
Mm-hmm.
energetic nature.
Yeah.
And I think they imprint
Because I
that on
want to
other
be
people.
fluid. It's yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I want to flow and I can't, and I'm like locked in. And I think a lot of like the stereotypes, again, we're talking pop astrology,
Mm-hmm.
there's possessiveness,
Mm-hmm.
secrecy, a vengeful nature, a little bit of like, I want to get revenge, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if they've been wrong, they want to hurt back
Mm-hmm.
as an instinctual initial reaction. That's like the most nascent version of Scorpio is like,
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of growth opportunity there to become like the actual Phoenix,
Yeah.
which is the ultimate expression of Scorpio.
Yeah. I think it's because like Scorpion energy is it's not easy.
No.
And a lot of people with prominent Scorpio energy have been hurt a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And so it aids in that behavior. And we also have to look at this is one of those signs that has two co-rulers, and those co-rulers are Mars and Pluto.
Mm.
And Mars is in a feminine expression.
Mm.
So when we do take that focus and that action like oriented behavior and water it down, again it becomes emotionally explosive and chaotic, and it's like you'll know what's going on in a Scorpio's inner world by the relationships that they're harnessing with other people,
Yeah.
because Scorpio is also a sign that is about relationships.
Yeah.
I think that's why Libra naturally flows into Scorpio, because it's like Libra is like, how do we cooperate and keep things together? And now Scorpio is like, well, how do we emotionally relate and
Mm.
regulate what's happening? And so Scorpion energy makes people uncomfortable because it's a mirror for what you yourself
Yes.
have been repressing,
Yeah.
because they have been repressed so much. And so you get
Or
around
they've
Scorpio.
exploded and let it all out, and then you're scared of that too. But it
Yep.
triggers something within you.
And so I think like Scorpion energy has a difficult time again in the grounding of what is happening right now, what is happening, like what is keeping you present, because what you're reacting to is not current circumstances.
Yeah.
You have just dealt with emotional repression for so long and vengeful tendencies and thought patterns and things of that nature that you carry that around. And we're seeing this theme with water signs,
Mm-hmm.
carrying the past,
Yes.
not being able to express, like holding on to things that need to be let go so that you can create more capacity and space to fill up a different container. You're continuing to pour yourself into a container that you no longer fit into.
Mm.
And that is that transitionary period with Scorpio, because Scorpio is in fall now, is that transitionary period where things are dying, there's a death. And I think that segues us into the transformation that Scorpion energy kind of compels every person into. Without it, I don't think life would be sustainable to continue to flow on without Scorpion energy. And that's why it rules the eighth house of death, transformation, occult studies, mysticism, intuition, also like inheritance,
Mm-hmm.
other people's money as well, other people's possessions. So it makes so much sense, but you have this beautiful depiction of like the transformative power of Scorpion energy and why it's so needed.
That's beautifully said. And I would say Scorpios, there's so many signs we say this to. I think everyone in the world needs to take a deep breath. But I would say take a deep breath. Realize that this is a lot to carry. Have compassion for yourself. Again, we also always know this energy is here for a reason. So, like, a special thing about yourself, because everyone deserves to feel special,
Yeah.
is it's the only sign that really has multiple kind of animal symbols associated. And you think with
Yes.
Taurus, you have the bull, Capricorn, you have the goat, Cancer, you have the crab. With Scorpio, and there's a few, like if you Google it, I know that we kind of were taught this a little differently,
Yeah.
but there's essentially stages of evolution, which is why I say Scorpios are potent. They have this within them and they just need to like start it. Everyone knows the scorpion, and
Yeah.
that is the version we're talking about. Scorpions don't go seeking to sting, right? It's
Mhm.
in response to someone hurting them. So that's the most base kind of layer of being a Scorpio. It's like, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you back, right?
Mhm.
But that's step one. There's so many more stages. So level two, I had been taught that it was like the snake. So you
Mhm.
actually start to transform, you start to shed skin. I feel like a lot of Scorpios I know in my life have gone through a lot of phases. Like they constantly are going
Yeah.
through phase. You were taught another animal, right? I think
Yes.
yeah.
I was taught it goes from the scorpion to the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
The eagle next.
Yes.
And the eagle is more so from this higher intuitive plane of being able to use what you've learned from your explosive nature and your scorpion inhabitants, being able to see things from a higher vantage point,
Mhm.
taking on more leadership, and also just being able to, like, when I think about an eagle, I think about them being able to take like predators from one ground into another. So I think about like moving between, if we get into quantum theory and things like that, between different realms and
Ooh.
letting go of the past now. We're choosing, like, we're taking this trauma and we're taking it and lifting it from the ground in which it used to reside, and now we're taking it into a higher state of consciousness, into a higher being for transformation.
I mean, if you felt bad about being a Scorpio, that should fix it all. Look
That
at
is
that.
enough.
I find that beautiful about all water signs is like they are definitely very past oriented, nostalgic, etc. The letting go is a challenge, but the past is a beautiful thing if you are able to re-examine it through a new lens and learn and share. And so I think that's why the ultimate animal for Scorpio is the phoenix. That is
Yes.
the ultimate symbol that you should carry within you. Forget the scorpion.
Yeah.
Think about the phoenix. You are the phoenix. You will rise from the ashes. You will transform yourself. And then a quote I like from Shauna Shapiro is transformation creates echoes in the universe. You ultimately will improve the world around you if you harness this. So like the turbulence of a Scorpio life is really, really challenging when it's not harnessed, but it's like so deeply
It's
transformative.
imperative.
So I think it's beautiful. Another plug for that lunar episode is I'm personally going through my Scorpio progressed moon right now.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Which is like a whole new chart. We don't want to confuse you.
Yeah.
But it's essentially a time period of life. It's like about a year and a half where I'm experiencing this transformation, right? And everyone goes through these different cycles. So there's this deep inner kind of death and rebirth cycle. And I have never really felt Scorpio energy inside of me until this process. And I feel it. I feel this kind of like inner angst and dread, but then also like beauty and change is coming on the other side of it. So people will often look back if they are aware of their Scorpio progressed moon period. They're like, it's called the dark night of the soul. Not so easy, but like undeniably changed that person's life.
Yeah.
Ultimately for the better. So you've gone through it. If you've gone through it as a Scorpio, there's another side.
And one of the first conversations I had with you in Bali, I asked you about how you handle death and like rebirth, and you were just like, it's never ending. You just learn how to recognize the signs of a new cycle starting and like a death, like a cycle ending, and you just kind of like roll with it. And so I think that was like really beautiful too.
And that came from experience.
Yeah.
So the sooner you accept it, the lighter I think everything begins to feel.
Yeah. Some other like really positive qualities, evolved qualities about Scorpio. We talk about the taboo being in there. I mean, we can't talk about Scorpio without talking about sex, you know, occult behavior, the mysticism and investigative nature. But Scorpio is going to find out your secret. In fact, they know it. And they're not telling you that they know it. They're just going to let you continue to, you know, walk around like they don't. We should talk about some people.
We got Frank Ocean, one of my favorites.
Ooh, I love Frank.
I love Frank. And he goes through it. I think talk about secretive, right? He's very, very private, has a lot of depth, and really puts it seems like he puts everything into each project, right? He has two like mainstream released albums.
Yes.
And then he disappears for a long time.
Yes.
Going through what I would imagine is another transformative period. Like I think Frank Ocean is like a perfect encapsulation of Scorpio. And you can see and feel the heaviness, but you can also experience the beauty that comes from it.
Yes.
So I love him.
Oh, that was so great. Because I'd be wondering where Frank is. He's probably just dying and getting his next album together through his cycle.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So Frank, like let us know what's going on if you're listening. Anyways, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Was a Scorpio.
That's not someone you would think of, right? But one of the people I'm thinking of in my life when I say I know a lot of Scorpio risings are actually really powerful in the business world.
Yes.
Because again, it's that power and like how you harness it. So that doesn't really surprise me. But I wonder, so I wish I knew him personally for so many reasons, but like it would be interesting to know what his like inner life was like early on.
Ooh, when we talk about the perseverance and endurance of like a Scorpio for like focusing and being driven, I'm sure that comes from Mars, but Scorpio is also a sister sign to Taurus. We'll go more in depth about like sister signs in other episodes for sure. But really quickly, sister signs are sort of like complementary, but like a space of tension for the zodiac signs. So they'll share the same modalities. So for example, like Taurus and Scorpio are both fixed, and their elements will be complementary, like earth and water, complementary, or fire and air. You'll see the same characteristics show up in different aspects. So like Taurus being possessive. Scorpio is also possessive, but Taurus is possessive over material beings, and Scorpio is possessive in relationships and with people so like we're just seeing a different dichotomy of that energy showing up. Yeah. And so I think that's where that like enduring nature kind of comes from on the other side of that spectrum. We talk about Drake being a Scorpio, Katy Perry as well. So those are different. They're on different ends of, we talked about evolved, and now we're talking about, wherever they may lay. Wherever
you think they lay.
And I think, we're going to segue into talking about
Sagittarius.
Okay, we've got a fire mutable sign. Okay, which I think pairs really, really well with fire energy.
Yeah.
We have rulership over the ninth house, and we're ruled by Jupiter. I think Sagittariuses are so lucky to be ruled by such a huge, expansive, abundant planet. Sometimes I think Sagittarians are fearful of what they're capable of, to be honest. And I think that comes out in some of the shadow aspects of being a little bit non-committal and a little flaky, because it's like, well, I know what's expected of me here, and I've been running from these expectations for so long. And it's like, you're always going to be in good hands. Like, you have Jupiter on your side, dude. Like,
if you're not familiar, Jupiter, lucky maybe is like a not quite the right word, but kind of. I mean, Jupiter is like the opposite of Saturn, really. Saturn is going to teach you life through hard lessons, and Jupiter is going to give you abundant opportunities to learn from. So if you're a Sagittarius, like, have faith that these things that show up are actually really great gifts and opportunities. You are
cosmically supported.
You are on a fairly lucky path, and I think that's why I do have a fondness for Sagittarius. It's like this kind of lovable, like kind of goofy, and I would say boyish, but also like whatever the same for women, like this like childish joy. And a very different version than Aries. Like it's this wonder, this like curiosity, a glint in their eye for what's possible in the world. That's why
very humorous.
So humorous and lighthearted, and feeling like there's so much of the world to see. So many
big
people.
Dreamers.
Yeah, it's so intoxicating to be around a Sagittarius. Well, especially in the beginning. If you don't know, if they have not worked through the shadow of being a bit non-committal and a little flaky.
Still intoxicating.
Yeah, still intoxicating. Give me more. But like you hear their dreams and you're like, sign me up for that. That sounds incredible. And a lot of them do live a lot of it. Like they'll travel a lot and experience so much of the world.
You'll want to go for the ride. And then you'll stay long enough to realize there is no destination. And you're like, I need to go.
And hey, maybe that is a societal trigger as well. Why do we need one?
You know what? I ain't got no answer for you. Listen, you just helped out all side. You're enabling the behavior. Okay.
Soft spot.
No, you need a destination sometimes. No, you were hinting at these like ninth house themes that speak to like world global travel, expansiveness, higher consciousness, like philosophical thinking and being. They like Uranus and Aquarian energy like disrupts the status quo, but Sagittarian energy is it's the mutable energy. They're so conversational about it that you don't even realize that you're being coerced to think differently when you're gripped by a Sagittarius.
They're incredibly likable.
Yeah. And they can share ideas without having anything to back it up. Anything to back it up. You know, like they can share information and you're like, that sounds right. I think we've done an amazing job speaking about the wonderful qualities of Sagittarians, and the wanderers and the wanderlust and things of that nature. But maybe some of those shadow aspects, again, that fear of like, wow, there are expectations put on me. And it's like, no, you're putting that expectation on yourself. Sort of like Libra, like nobody's telling you to make a decision. So like with Sagittarian energy, it's like you're running away from,
and you don't know what you're running from.
You don't know what you're running from. You're creating, and it's funny because Sagittarian and Capricorn has to clean up the mess that Sagittarians made, from like doing all this, starting all this, not finishing it. All of the energy towards the end of the year flows into itself, it seems like. And so like the Virgo energy of like, I'm identifying these issues now. Like Libra needs to come and talk about these issues, and Scorpio has to like come and emotion and feel these issues. As Sagittarius is like, listen, man, like I don't want none of these issues. I know what that feels like. I'm done. I'm exploring. I'm leaving. I'm embodying something completely new. You know what it feels like to be burdensome, or to be burdened. That you think committing to anything is going to bring you that pain and that feeling. So you're really just running from your past again.
So may I ask you how you think your Sagittarius moon shows up for you?
Good question. Maybe this whole conversation was like me talking to myself. My Sagittarius moon comes up for me where, especially with having very heavy like earth energy as well, where I love the idea of being in these very committed relationships. But in practice, I feel very rigid and feel very suffocated because I think to myself, what does this mean now, essentially? And the Capricorn rising in me needs a mountain to climb. And so I'll fabricate that mountain based upon expectations, societal expectations. But my Sagittarius moon is disappointed as I'm climbing. And it's just like, you don't want to do this.
So it sounds like there's a tension between the expectations that your rising places on your moon.
Yeah. Like Sagittarian energy is already running from burden expectations. And I pit myself, I think I said this in earlier episodes, but it's like I create my problems so that I can rebel from the structure that I've created. And so I'm like falling off a mountain, having a tower moment and being so thankful that it's like, oh my God, like I shared before in previous episode as well, the relationship with my fiance falling apart after having a child and thing. And deep down, I knew that I was not prepared. I was not ready. And so it was painful when it fell apart, but my Sag moon was like, thank God I can like explore aspects of myself that I had never explored before. I can see myself in other people. I can see myself in art and travel. That's what I did. Traveled to Bali, got my passport after that relation. Like
your Sag moon was like, I know how to make you emotionally feel safe. Follow this blueprint.
Period. It's like you've been ignoring me like long enough. Like we're in Sag mode now. And so it's shown up in ways where I'm not forcing myself to commit to things anymore.
And like there's gonna be a song and dance between those two signs forever for you, right? And so I know that in our journal prompts today, at some point we're gonna kind of chat with folks about how do you take this information and like have the highest expression, or you know, what kind of blueprint do you have moving forward. So I think that is knowing that you have a Cap rising and a Sag moon in this, they're in this song and dance rather than conflict. We can call it a song and dance.
I
It's
like
a
that.
beautiful dance.
Yeah.
And they both are trying to protect you. And it's like in this exact moment, going to Bali was the right move. And then in the future, when you're ready for more structure and stability, that's a great journal prompt as well. Like, how will I allow, like, release what my Sag moon has done historically to keep me safe and accept in what my Cap rising wants to do to build the future.
Ooh.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Build a future that I can like trust and not see.
Believe in.
Completely. Belief, faith.
Yeah.
All of that. And that's funny because Jupiter rules faith as well.
Yeah.
I have faith in something I can't see.
Yeah.
Oh, clearly. We love Sag. We love Sag.
Too.
Some Sag people.
I remember reading this like awful astrology book actually, but like their whole chapter on Sag was only about Britney Spears. So it was
A little obsessive.
Yeah, probably Scorpio, but she has lived an interesting life.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. So we've also got Miley Cyrus.
Another person who's lived an interesting life.
Yes.
Who's
And like
run away from it.
adventurous and bold.
Expectations early on, ran away from that for a little bit.
Had this whole Miley, like Hannah Montana, and like, screw that. Brittany and Miley have done that, actually.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Yep.
Like, please release me from these burdens you placed on me. I didn't ask for that.
I didn't ask for that.
Actually, they didn't. They were children.
Tina Turner.
Cool.
Tina Turner's a Sagittarius.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very talented, legs for days.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not a Sagittarius. No. When you think about the horse, like,
oh, tell me more.
You know, like the animal, the centaur.
Oh yeah,
is represented by Sagittarius.
Oh, the Sag is the centaur.
Yeah. You see it in the energy of her music.
Yeah,
as well. Something to note: Tina Turner has this like rasp to her voice, and she's a Sag. Miley Cyrus, also has a rasp. To her voice. And Britney Spears has this kind of like...
we also have Jimi Hendrix.
You know, Jimi Hendrix. Maybe there's something vocally going on with Sagittarian energy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Correlation.
Okay. Maybe we're onto something.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's a lot of Sag.
Oh my God. Brad Pitt. You want to talk about the other side of Sag? We don't have to say much. I think just bringing up the name.
And Tyra Banks.
I used to be obsessed with Tyra Banks when I was younger. I mean, wanted to be her. Like, great qualities. Surrogate mom.
Life size.
Favorite movie.
Yeah.
Her and Lindsay. What?
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, know a little bit more about Ms. Banks. I'm kind of just like, you know what? You can embody all of the Sagittarius.
Are there shadow sides that trigger you?
Big ass shadow sides that come with Tyra, because fraudulent behavior is also a Sag thing.
Fraudulent
behavior. And so I'm not calling Tyra a fraud, but like, she's unhinged.
Yes.
Unhinged.
We were all rooting for you.
Why would you yell at these women?
I know.
In that man. And then, moving on.
Capricorn. We have both the bias of Capricorn rising, but being a Capricorn rising means our entire chart is ruled by what Capricorn is ruled by, which is a very, very difficult placement. So Capricorn is an earth sign, a cardinal, and it is ruled by Saturn, which is the direct opposite of what we were saying about Jupiter.
Yeah.
Saturn is that, like, teaches you lessons through the hardest ways you possibly could. You go through something terrible, and then you live long enough, you realize it was to serve you, but it's like constantly getting punched in the face, I feel.
And being told to get up after being punched. Yeah. And it's like, can I absorb this punch?
That's why I think you do see a very serious side to Capricorn, because they've lived a hard life in different ways. Like, it doesn't always mean, like, I know I have a lot of amazing Capricorns in my life, and the hard has looked different. You know, I just have people who kind of went out on their own early on in life, like, because they had this incredible sense of like work ethic and dream that they wanted to build. I have friends in my, people we know that had hard lessons they didn't ask for early on in life. Yeah. You say parentified often.
Parentified, like children. Yeah. They're not able to
be children.
Just be children. You were not created to express, you were created to be useful. That's what Capricorn placements are kind of told early on. And so there's this like, not until you evolve later on in life, and also go through your little Scorpio transition, that you're just like, wow, emotions are actually one of my most powerful tools.
Yes. Capricorns are the manifestors of the zodiac. So we said at one point Aries are the initiators, but like Capricorn they see things through. It is
Yeah.
the goat climbing up the mountain that we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a truly, truly profound ability to accomplish. And like when we
Mm-hmm.
talk through who's a famous Capricorn,
Oh
the
my
list is
goodness.
endless and easy. I mean, these are people who have made a mark on this world and will achieve their goal
Yep.
at any cost. And again, that's both a evolved side and potentially a shadow.
Yeah.
Like being so myopically goal focused that you lose touch with other things that might matter, like your feelings or relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn without other energy to balance itself out. Like I think we both have Cap rising, but we have so many other like funny placements.
Yeah.
But if you have like a lot of Capricorn, you can be really serious and you can come
Mm-hmm.
across potentially cold or maybe a bit aloof.
Yeah. And you were saying this earlier about the mystery that surrounds Capricorn, and goes back into the whole like, I was not here. I'm not created to express myself.
Yeah.
With Scorpio, that energy is like induced mystery.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is like, you can't help but not express what's going on with you.
Yes.
You don't know how to talk about it because you don't know how to feel about it. So how
Yeah.
do you know to express something that like
Yes.
you don't even have the vocabulary or the consciousness to even hold
Yes.
space for? And I think this comes into like where we talk about the 10th house,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like that's our MCs.
Mm-hmm.
That is our public reputation.
Mm-hmm.
This is about your usefulness to society. What do you bring to the table is like a 10th house
Yeah.
thing. It's your career,
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing, like your public persona. There's some prominent astrologers who feel like some people's first impression of you is actually your 10th house,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the side that you're comfortable with branding yourself as.
Yeah.
This is where I feel worthy to exist, essentially. And so that encompasses a lot of that is this cold behavior. And I mean,
Cold seeming behavior, maybe we should say,
cold-seeming
because
behavior.
I think a misconception about Capricorn energy is that there's aren't feelings.
Yes, and we've talked about why that may be
Yeah.
difficult, but there is some resistance that I feel with Capricorn energy into even acknowledging the emotions of yourself and other people. That feels more like enablement because you just don't want to touch it. You know, it's like once you're aware that it's there sort of seems like well, if I have to take a look at this, then I have to take a look at this type of thing. And where some signs tend to hold on to the past, I think that Capricorn is so like forward facing that
Totally.
they're not even looking at how the past has even shaped their ambition into the future.
Yeah.
And they don't even recognize that like what you're envisioning for your future is really because you're not addressing your past. You might want something completely different. Like I was saying for myself, you might want to climb a whole different mountain, but you're so resistant to understanding why the emotional framework of your ambitions that you're going to go climb up a mountain that you can't even hold or sustain long term.
Especially in like, this is a fun one to unpack because no matter what, Capricorn is going to be able to manifest in his life.
Period.
So analyzing everything you just said, what made me me? What made me even want to climb this particular mountain? Because you're going to be climbing a mountain and your life is going to be a little bit difficult as a Capricorn. So choose your mountain wisely.
Choose your mountain wisely.
Like you have that choice. You do have that free will. And dissecting it will only make your life start to feel easier. And we've talked about this before. Capricorns have the ability to kind of age backwards. Life will start to feel lighter later in life.
Supposed to.
It's supposed to if you're on the right energetic path. So if you have Capricorn energy and you've been like, dang, I've been through it, like just know that you have the power to turn that around and like the rest of your life could start to feel a lot lighter because you're going to release a lot of these burdens. You're going to kind of analyze, okay, wait, I can make anything happen. Let me make magic happen in a place that feels authentic and beautiful to me. Let me let some emotions in. Let me connect with the people around me. Let me share this wealth I've accumulated. Let me share
Capricorns.
You've got a mountain of things, like share, let people in. So I think it's a wonderful sign. We need Capricorn energy. We need people to build lasting things. And it's just make sure you even know what you're building and why you're building it. And don't be afraid to look into it.
Yeah. Investigate yourself and look at it. I think we said that on a previous episode. But being like a cardinal earth sign, it can be a little bit difficult because as things are manifesting, by the time something has manifested, it's kind of already at its end. You're also supposed to be starting something at the same time. And so there's that, like, where do I end? Where do I begin? And that, I think that's that hard work of like, I'm always on, I'm always
Yes.
pushing towards something, or, and so
Yeah.
like, I think what you said about with Capricorn energy, you're going to be manifesting something anyways. So like, be a little bit more knowledgeable about the things that we're creating and materializing on this plane, because you can keep materializing chaos and just unfavorable outcomes, or you can do the internal work of being able to release yourself from those loops and create something a little bit more beautiful for yourself. And maybe you hinted on this as well, for others, Capricorns like can be a little shallow
Yeah.
because they can't go into the deep end.
Yeah.
And so like, it's not just about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you're saying about looping too, Saturn is incredibly karmic. So like you really kind of had to earn yourself out of these cycles. When you're presented with your next obstacle, if you're a Capricorn, be like, hey, somehow this is a gift. Somehow this is a gift. I'm going to choose differently this time.
Yes.
And watch your life change. I actually, like, I mean that sounds like I'm like trying to make this too easy. I've been through these cycles myself. And that is a pivotal moment for you when you choose differently the next time you're presented with that same cycle.
Yes.
That is a very Saturnian thing. Just choose differently and like just trust that life's going to get better and better. That's like something I can definitely say to Capricorn. And also that's a beautiful thing to do, because once you start to do that, you'll realize you have these very like natural leadership qualities within you.
Yes.
Again, when we talk about who is, I'll say it now. We got MLK.
Michelle Obama,
who actually shares a birthday with Dolly Parton. Okay. And I love that, because people might not think of, like, Dolly is so playful and loving.
Yeah.
She is someone who's been so consistent in her career. One of the most long running careers. She's actually one of my idols. Most long running.
Dolly's amazing.
Running careers that you can imagine. She's been so consistent. Like, she has made the success. She has earned it. She had a hard life early on. I think she really embodies that parentified Capricorn who was like, I'm building my own mountain, loves it, but also is very controlled about it. She is very controlled about her appearance. You don't see her like out of her, like the costume that she has. Like, she's very
true.
Very ambitious in a beautiful way. Michelle Obama as well. We have Muhammad Ali.
Yes. LeBron James.
And those are two actually very, very serious. Now you can really think they probably don't have as much lighter placements like Dolly and Michelle might. They're very...
Well, that's the masculine expression.
The masculine expression. We got Tiger Woods. That's tough.
That's enough.
You can see he struggled. And then we have Jeff Bezos. Aquarius. In general, everyone should pay attention, because we are going to talk about global transits in a few episodes to come. And when we talk about that, a lot of these energies of different signs will come into play.
Yes.
Pluto has moved into Aquarius, a generational transit, which means generationally, we are all going to be heavily impacted by Aquarian energy.
Getting an upgrade in consciousness.
So pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. These are important.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. My favorite placement for Mercury. Love Aquarian energy.
Yeah.
Love, love, love. You're meant to be here. Aquarius energy, we have
Air.
Fixed air. Isn't it funny, the more kind of the farther we get up this zodiological like wheel, the more complex this energy is kind of getting a little bit. So we have a fixed air sign, rules the 11th house and co-ruled by Uranus and Saturn. The 11th house themes, we think communities, we think technological innovation and advancement. We also think about big hopes and wishes and dreams, mostly from a societal aspect as well as personal. When we talk about the nature of, again, being air and being able to be in multiple places at one time, intellectually understanding so much, but you have this fixed nature. I think that the fixed nature of that is serving Aquarians, because that energy is responsible for ushering in new information. And when information is new, some people are going to ask you, like, how do you know that? How can I reference that? Where's the textbook? And a lot of the information that Aquarian energy comes in from is etheric. So you have to be 10 toes down about the information that you know is true, because people with older habits or older thought patterns are going to challenge change. And so it's not so much that uh, this energy is resistant to change. It's really moving through the people who would block that change from even happening. So they have to be like dogmatic about what they're speaking about. It's like, I know what I'm talking about because that is outdated.
Yeah.
Essentially. So that, I think, is where that fixed nature, like, y'all all saw me like work through that in my mind, but like
that was a channeling.
Yeah.
That was makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because when you're challenging the status quo, which is what Aquarians do in an ideal world, we need them. Yeah, you're going to be told you're insane, you're crazy. You're going to go against a blockade. That was really interesting.
Yeah, like you have to have tough skin because nobody is going to tell you that you're right.
No.
And we're
not in
seeing
this lifetime.
No.
So Aquarians have to be comfortable kind of being the oddball.
Yeah, and the type of tough skin, I think that might be Saturn into play.
Yeah.
That you have to develop to not be validated by society, to be your own self-validation with information that you can't find anywhere else. That is complex. That is evolved. That, I mean, we keep saying this for a lot of the signs that we're getting into, but that is tough. We all have Aquarian energy, but if you got placements in Aquarius, like, you're doing amazing. Okay.
And thank you.
Trust yourself.
They're the innovators of the zodiac. Like they're going to think about things that a lot of people don't take the time to, or their brain can't even operate that way.
Yeah.
Like interdimensional and think about the quantum approach to time, and just they're really, really fun to talk to. Well, depending on who you are, you might find it fun or not. I find it really fun to be, have my thought patterns so wonderfully challenged by Aquarians.
Because they will do that.
Yeah.
Very great speakers. So like Aquarian energy is like the higher octave of Mercury. So when you talk about like that detail orientation of like this, like, I know this isn't working, we need to bring something new and down. And so I think with having such a task like that, there's this shadow aspect of being misunderstood. So you create scenarios of isolation.
Yes.
Yeah. You'd rather not. It's so funny because like Aquarians bring people together effortlessly, but then can still feel alone in a crowd of people. Almost like they have to chameleonize themselves. Like, I have to understand society and I have to understand why this is the nature of things. But I also feel alone because I actually don't agree with it. And I don't know who else knows me, but I also don't know if I trust other people to get to know me as well, because you're so used to feeling so oddball out. Sorry, I'm using your word. That like...
It's the Aquarian word.
Yeah. Could they also be attracting scenarios to feel that way too?
Yeah.
Because they're used
it's their loop. Their Saturn.
That's their loop.
That's their Saturn loop. And the tension. I think you said it beautifully, like of wanting this community, really essential to building community while having trouble feeling at home within that community. It's also very associated with like technological transformation. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's zooming forward in a way that's hard for the rest of the people around them to understand. They also can be judgmental because of that same thing. Right? It's like they feel judged. And so and this is a kind of shadow side. So it doesn't mean it's always the case, but there is this like, I feel judged, so I'm going to judge. I'm
going to judge you before you judge me.
Yeah.
Because I'm expecting it anyways.
Yeah.
You said something like really interesting when you were like, that's their loop. Instead of shadow, can we just be like, what's your loop?
What's your loop?
What are you looping through?
Yeah.
We need to brand that.
Orbit.
Okay. Girl.
God, real time.
Okay.
Hey, it makes sense that we came to this breakthrough while talking about Aquarius. Thank you to this Aquarian energy.
When we also talk about, I mean, air already has a talent for language.
Yeah.
Very lyrically gifted people, poets, very poetic, do very well with speaking as well. Although these are qualities that I don't think Aquarians recognize because they just want to be so eclectic so bad.
Yeah.
And that's a great evolved quality. But sometimes I think there's a looping aspect to it where sometimes there's this fishing to be different because you want to stand out.
Yeah.
as well. So like, and part of standing out is that rebellious nature of
Yeah.
Aquarius energy.
I feel like Aquarian is like in high school, like I'm not like the other people, like very much the like I'm different. Look at, and which is
Hmm.
again like cool. Like you
I don't
got to
want to
start
stand out, but I'm
somewhere.
gonna do things to stand out because I'm so different.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more like showy how different you are. And
Hmm.
then an integrated, embodied version of is like, actually, I don't judge other people. I'm in community with other people. I
Hmm.
appreciate their differences and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on my differences and like accept that this is how the world needs to work. We need to have this
Yeah.
exchange of energy and information and I am meant to embody this. I am meant to be different,
Mm.
but naturally, it's like what we were saying about Capricorn. You're going to build a mountain, have it be a mountain that's aligned with you in your heart and your soul and your values.
Yeah.
If you're Aquarian and you're going to be different, take a moment to get to know yourself for real, and then run forward with that and
But don't isolate
don't
yourself while you're
isolate
doing
because
that.
we need
Yeah.
to. We
Yeah.
actually need that energy. We need if all of the Aquarius energy is away from the rest of the world, the world isn't
We're
going to
not going to
benefit
evolve.
from that
Yeah.
like challenging of the status quo. Like Rosa Parks, Aquarius,
Mm.
challenging the status quo,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we
And
need
look
you,
how that changed
Rosa.
the world,
Yeah.
you know? So like something that we would
Abraham
like,
Lincoln.
I feel a little controversial about Abraham,
Yes.
but still wrote amazing papers.
Uh,
Gave
a
amazing speeches.
and definitely like a oddball.
You know, was that man black? Was he white? Like, who knows what? And that's part of the Aquarian thing, you know?
Hey,
Like,
an Aquarian
was
would
he
not be afraid
not
to ask this
tall?
question. Yeah.
Like 7 foot or something?
Yeah.
Too Aquarian
Okay.
as well.
We're going to go on a rabbit hole after this,
Okay.
which is also a very Aquarian thing to
We
do.
need to answer the question for the people. But if you have this Aquarian nature within yourself, like embrace it, celebrate your differences, celebrate the diversity. And that's so funny because like to be able to bring community together, you do have to be able to live within the diversity of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so like something that I'm noticing about air signs as we're going through this episode is the impact that as aloof as air seems to be, I think they're the ones bringing the people to the party.
Yeah.
I think they're more communal than anything. And I would not have expected that. We have Gemini, that's air and mutable, the conversation, getting the conversation started. Then we have Libra bridging the gap between those conversations, signing those contracts. And then we have Aquarians, which like, okay, but maybe we can think a little bit differently now that we're all in the room. Now, what do we want? Like,
Beautifully said.
yeah.
And it goes to show everything we're talking about. The shadow is part and parcel of the beautiful element, right?
Mhm.
It's almost like you need to be a little bit aloof and detached to be able to see the things that no one else can see,
Yeah.
to then use that information to bring those same people together.
Yeah.
So it's funny how it all works.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do we have any more like Aquarians we want to reference?
We got Virginia Woolf.
Love Virginia.
Love.
Okay.
Not ahead of her
poet.
time, not
Mhm.
afraid to do her,
Mhm.
maybe a little tormented by that isolation. And it
Yeah.
all shows up.
Yeah.
We also, your fave.
Meg the Stallion.
Yeah, how are you?
Meg the Stallion. I remember when Meg first came out, like became mainstream like a few years ago. She had the anime, different colored hair and things of that nature. And I was like, she's got to be an Aquarius. And I looked her up. And I knew. I was like, all right, Meg's definitely an Aquarius. There's some controversy that follows Aquarian nature too. Is that the rebellion, do you think?
I think it's the rebellion.
Okay.
We also have The Weeknd, which you can kind of feel that as well in his music, that like lonery, I'm not understood energy. Yeah.
Very sad boy energy. Which brings us to our last sign of the zodiac.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow, how'd we get here?
It's been such a fun ride.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about dreamy Pisces.
Pisces.
Our element is water.
Mm-hmm.
Our modality is mutable. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's a lot of no boundaries, which is what we say for all water, right?
Mhm.
All water signs, Cancer moon here, boundaries is like your homework.
Mhm.
If you're taking a water sign that has no boundaries and you're saying mutable, you flow even more, right? That might be double the homework for you.
Mm.
That's what I think.
No,
Yeah.
I think you've hit that right on the nail.
Yeah.
Like, and that is kind of a quality with Piscean energy. It's just like you dissolve into people, spaces, experiences, and there's like no sense of self because where you don't have anything to grip onto, where the other water signs have something, like Cancers are starting something and Scorpios are working through the restriction, where Pisces literally, you're just like thrown into the deep end. And that is a Piscean experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not to mention they're ruled by
Oh my goodness. They're ruled by Neptune and co-ruled by Jupiter.
Yeah.
Which is already expansive
Yeah.
and boundless already and indulgent.
Yes.
So that's where we get the addiction tendencies from.
Yes.
And our 12th house rules our
The
12th house.
strangest. No, so we love Pisces. Chapel Rowan, we'll get to it. We love Pisces, but the 12th house is always, for me, has been like, that's a funky house.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you even describe it?
I know that like you've had beautiful words to describe it before when we've talked about it. It's difficult to pin down.
Yeah.
This is, so in our 7th house we get like our open enemies, and then our 12th house we get more of hidden enemies, but you realize it's just yourself. At the end of the day, it's just me v me.
So true.
You know, 12th house is entrapments. Also your spirituality, you get more of the past here. Medicine is represented in that house, and mysticism. It's kind of like the 8th house on steroids.
Yeah, I was going to say very similar, and a lot of taboo there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just kind of a funky one that you have to sit with, I would say.
Yeah, 12th house transits are not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
Like, because there's things cropping up, whereas Capricorn is resistant to looking at themselves because they know what's behind the curtain. When you have a 12th house transit, you're just like, what curtain? And you're vastly unprepared for the things that are manifesting in your life. Because a lot of the times this could be, if we have that belief, from past life experiences too. So that house can also be very karmic.
Yeah.
As well.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I think when we think about the best sides of Pisces, because we're much like Pisces, we're going to kind of go flow back and forth here. When we think about the best, it's beauty.
Yeah.
It's art. It's poetic. It's romantic. That's like why I led with a Chapel Roan. Throughout there, there's this beautiful artistry there, this beautiful, very authentic fairy tale like expression.
Yeah.
It brings so much beauty to the world that we very much need. We need
There's
a little
nurturing.
La La Land. We need the let's make this fiction into a reality, but kind of not really. So there's so much beauty with Pisces.
Yeah.
They can be very, very beautiful themselves and bring that beauty to the world.
Yeah.
And please look at yourself
Dream.
so that you can bring the best of that. Because Neptune, whenever Neptune is influencing something in a transit, you will actually dream more, right?
Yeah.
We're going through, at the time of
imagination.
recording this, we're going through a Pisces eclipse, and we all had wild dreams this week. And it's because it's ruled by Neptune. And so like more people are going to be dreaming during this time and paying attention to their dreams. If you lock in, there might be some intuitive things you can learn from those dreams. But don't get lost in them, which is again flowing back to the shadow side of what Pisces energy can be. Like, tell me more about the getting lost. The loop.
What is the loop here?
Yeah, what's the loop for that?
I want to hint on just a little bit more of like the more evolved aspects of Piscean energy, because when we talk about Aquarius energy and we're just like, you're the innovators, we need you.
Yeah.
Piscean energy, I don't think gets enough recognition for the innovation that Pisces brings in.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we don't live in a society that values emotional currency yet.
Oh, that's
that's
true.
Quote me. No, but without the ability to daydream, without the ability to use your imagination, you don't even, again, very Capricorn, you don't even know that there's a mountain to climb because it has to come from your mind first. Everything that we touch and interact with was a thought first. And it's that Piscean energy that even allows you to think like, you know, it'd be really cool if I had a couch to sit on. And then you go and you create the couch.
Yeah.
And so like it doesn't get enough recognition of the power of the imagination.
Yeah.
And that is such a true gift. And that's where Pisces energy is so healing.
Yeah.
Because you are able to bring down otherworldly energies where Aquarians can pick up on it and intellectually get it
Very
grounded.
intellectualized.
Piscean, they feel it, they express it in art.
Yes.
And they have the ability to make you feel things that you've never felt before. And that is the intoxicating nature of being around a Pisces. And that's that Neptune and Jupiter influence together, which again is a hell of a pairing.
Yeah.
Pisces has the ability to hold space for a higher octave of love. It's a higher octave of Venus. And so like when we think about the upgrading of consciousness, hell yeah, we need a Pisces eclipse.
Yeah.
We need that consciousness
And
upgrade.
Pisces is now our north node. So societally, that means we're heading in the direction of Piscean energy.
Oh.
So something we all do need to get a little comfortable with.
So instead of being like self-critical with the Virgo sister
what we're
sign,
leaving behind.
now we're just like, I'm going to dream up a better dream.
And I think there's a spiritual component too. And I think we see that. We see people generationally moving towards wellness, spiritual practices are more mainstream than ever before. Like, hello, look at this. But truly, and we see people like, there's still a funny like process that we're seeing like the masculine expression of this go through, but they're even like, you know, like meditation is good for you. Like on like Joe Rogan
it helps my workouts.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, just say it calms your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But across the board, all types, all ages, we're heading towards this. I think there is this feeling that we've lost our soul, like at the most global scale. So this is a return to soul, which is a very beautiful thing for Pisces. And I'm gonna this Pisces, I'm really like leaning in. I feel like we've been really like honing in these energies. Like
you feel it, right?
I feel like a Pisces.
I feel myself crying. I felt it in my chest. I was like, I think I'm about to cry on film. I don't know why. And it's like we're channeling.
Yes.
As more complex these energy, because all we're doing is describing energy and reading it. As more complex we've gotten, as we've gone up the rung of astrology, I've felt us evolve as people with the type of space that we're able to hold to describe these things. And so even just sitting down and having, I know we're going to do a recap episode, but even just having the experience to, because I don't think I knew the signs as well until we started talking about it. But then when you were like, no, we're just channeling the energy, like, thank you, planets, for like having a conversation in the room with us.
100%.
Essentially. And so just had to throw that.
Well, and I think we didn't plan on it, what we've been doing each time too. We keep hitting on these societal triggers. Like even the things that we knew we were triggered by, and until we started talking about it, we're like, oh wait, maybe that's an us problem. Yeah. With Pisces, you said it really nicely, like the world's not appreciating emotional currency. And so that's why I'm kind of like flipping forward to naming some of these people that are famous: Chappell Roan, Kurt Cobain, Justin Bieber. And I'm naming those three together on purpose for a second to kind of make a bit of a case. Chappell Roan, super, super famous, is blown up. Like, I think like looks like a Pisces. If you look at her, like sings about being a Pisces in her songs. She also gets a lot of backlash. She kind of puts her foot in her mouth a little bit in interviews, or people say that she does. I have no opinion one way or the other. What I'm trying to do right now is observe society's kind of processing of Pisces energy. I think these people really express themselves not in the intellectualized Aquarius way, right? They're not meant to communicate the same way Gemini, Aquarius, etc. are going to communicate verbally. She's communicating through her art. So people get frustrated by her interviews
because they don't know how to feel yet.
And like, I don't think that's even her best mode of expression. I think she's expressing her highest self in her music and in her music videos and in her makeup. But then like when she has to explain it and like people are trying to get her to explain her views and things, there's like a mismatch and people almost get angry. They like want her to be a certain way. But I think it's very Piscean. She's expressing herself through the art itself, not through talking. Kurt Cobain also was like, clearly a very feeling individual. I don't think you can debate that, and very much expressed that angst through music, and hated everything else that came along with
Mm.
being this artist, right? He was
Yeah.
like, leave me the alone. And then Justin Bieber is not too different in a way. Like
He
has
snaps at the paparazzi all the
he's
time.
given us so much. Like he really
Hmm.
has
I
given
don't think
his,
he likes fame.
and what really, why would you? But like he's given us his childhood. He's given a lot of art, and he's, again, probably not the best one to communicate through an interview. He's communicating through his music. So I'm now seeing kind of that parallel
Mm.
of this Piscean energy. We also have a Rihanna. I think the rest of her planets look
Yes.
so her,
Yeah.
because remember, it's all about your other placements as well.
Hmm.
So Rihanna, I think, gives beauty. She gives art.
Beauty. When people talk about Rihanna or get around Rihanna, they feel they
Hmm.
feel like the best versions of themselves
Oh,
because
dang!
there's that
Were you
projection
around her?
in spirit.
That makes me so jealous.
Like at least from the interviews that
Yeah,
like I've watched.
people say she smells great.
That's the number one. Like,
Yeah.
and what's so funny about Piscean energy as well and how Rihanna embodies it is again being this higher octave of Venus, there is this intoxication within the senses.
Hmm.
And so to always just be like, wow, she smells great.
Hmm.
That's one of the ways that she uses that energy in that way. With Rihanna's music, it's so visceral, it's so dark, it's so emotional, it's so raw. It's not about whether or not she can sing, it's more so about, which I think she can. It's more so about what is this invoking, because you have so much that you can do with that type of information. Do I
Hmm.
want to release this? Do I want to process this? Do I want to keep this? I think that Rihanna is also very supportive of other people's art
Hmm.
as
Yes.
well. And that goes into that mutability. Being able to be confident in themselves enough to not be intimidated by the expression of other people's art. Piscean energy projects a lot, so they attract a lot of projections.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there's no like, because they play in the fantasy world so much,
Hmm.
there's the delusion of like what's real, what's not.
Yes.
Right. And so other people get around them and they don't know what's real or what's not.
Yes.
And then they feel gaslit or crazy by Pisces, which is
It does
a
happen.
very, let's talk about it.
It does happen. I think projection was the right word.
Mm-hmm.
And much like all these signs, again, I think it's very genuine. It's never coming, if you're in this loop and you have this Pisces energy, it's not coming from a like trying to do this on purpose, but a lot of times like a Pisces, when they are naming something that bothers them in someone else, like to your point, it's very often projection. So like if you're wondering where to start, maybe as a Pisces, really think about what's triggering you about other people.
Yeah.
Another thing that can come through in Pisces is gossip, which we talked about with Gemini, but it's a different energy here, right?
Yeah.
It's blurring, the mutability, the flowing, the dissolving. There's a lot of blurring of the truth. There's a lot
Yeah.
of blurring of like lies by omission. And it's kind of like, well, like I think a Pisces might debate within their own head, like, well, is it really a lie? Kind of like that's very
The delusion.
it's very Piscean energy of
Yeah.
like, because the boundaries are blurred, like truly for in that moment, the boundary of real and fake and true and false, like it's a genuinely blurred boundary for them.
But do you think it's because since they kind of mutate themselves into the experience of where they are, who they're with, that they genuinely, just like a Gemini thing, they genuinely think that they are that person.
Yes.
So they're just like, well, let me not tell them that because
I wouldn't want
to know. And it's like, you wouldn't want to know because you think you're them right now.
Yeah.
And it's not for you. You can't decide how somebody's going to react. Yeah.
So if I were to give homework, and like I do for every water sign, it is boundaries. Also for your own sake, right? Like think about relationships. The urge to merge is real with Pisces. The urge to like lose yourself in someone else, which is again a very beautiful thing that Pisces wants. It's not, it's a wonderful thing to find someone that you want that with.
Yeah.
But slow yourself down, journal.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to like keep yourself somewhat objective, share things with your friends, like find ways to feel grounded.
To ground into reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do yoga, ground into your body, listen to your heart.
Yeah.
So I think grounding is really great for a Pisces that feels that they're looping. Again, remember that your truth and your heart and your beauty is what you're here for. So keep
Yeah.
giving it to us. Maybe be mindful of the projecting that can happen.
Yeah.
And catch yourself if you find yourself making decisions for other people.
Oh, yes, that's a big one. It also segues into like something really big within the Pisces community is addiction. You see that, and that might be Jupiter's influence or overindulgence in, because you have the capacity to hold and feel so much love, and you know how euphoric that can feel.
Yes.
Living in a world that doesn't know how to harness or create that type of energy consistently, you find yourself in abusive relationships with people, work, drugs, anything that can get you a euphoric fix. For some reason, there's this victimhood with Piscean energy as well, because you kind of are the savior of you are bringing down your emotionally grounding realms and levels that don't yet exist in this reality. And so there's a savior complex, but with a savior complex also creates this desire to be saved. And so there's this tendency of victimhood. And I'm a victim to this circumstance, so let me do something to make me feel better.
Run away from it. I don't want to feel it.
That's a big thing. I don't want to feel it, because when Pisces feel things, they feel
so deeply
them. So we are in the deep end right now, and that is challenging. If I can feel this much intense pain, then I know that I can feel so much euphoric goodness with whatever that addiction shows up in. And so when you were talking earlier about some of those points for Pisces, like it was so important for Piscean energy to get a grip on reality. And I say that nicely. And I think that's something I've had to say to myself, because my Saturn is in Pisces and it's in my second house. And so it's like, get a grip on what's real, tangible. Because you have enough creativity, you have enough mysticism and things of that nature to support whatever endeavor you're doing in spirituality, but you need the materialization of Earth.
It feels like Earth placement friends could be good.
That's why Virgo is a sister sign to Pisces. You need the grounding. Without it, that's where.
And then Virgo would benefit from Pisces, like loosen up, dream a little.
That's a good pair. That's a good pair. So I cannot stress that enough. Get you some Earth friends. Pisces utilize the Earth in your chart in whatever house it's in to give you most of that grounding. You are unstoppable with that.
And beautiful. Thank you, Chapel. Somehow we've made it to the end.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah. Let's get into our journal prompt.
Yes. There was like probably 10,000 things you could have journaled on, but here, if you didn't find one, we have another.
I feel like this was an emotional episode. To be honest. So there might be a lot of writing going on.
So now that you understand the totality of your birth chart and like the millions of energies that might be contradictory within you, who were you prior to knowing this about yourself, and who do you feel you are now energetically?
That's a really, really good one. So like before you began listening to us or studying yourself with your birth chart, what perception did you have of yourself if you had to just like assign some names or words or anything? And who are you just like, what are you discovering now? If you had to make that tangible, and knowing about the different expressions of energy within yourself and your chart, what is the highest expression that you aspire to? Let it come to you, don't fish for it, but like, what is a higher embodied version of your energetic self that you can just name? I think that's emotional too.
I love ending on that because let's be real, we were not pulling punches. I think we were being really honest about where you can work because we want this to be useful, break loops, etc. But the best way to do it is through self-compassion and envisioning the best version of yourself, right? Not beating yourself up if any of these things you feel called out.
Good. Start there.
Great. Then now what's the flip side of that energy? What's that highest expression? I think that's such a beautiful way to end it.
I think that's nice.
Well,
on that note, like, girl, let's go get dinner.
We
earned it.
We did it. All right.
You've been listening to Inner Orbit, This podcast is created and hosted by Tianee Harris and Taylor Starr, produced and edited by Chloe Goodman, with original music by Joseph Goodman. Be sure to like, subscribe, or follow wherever you're listening so you don't miss an episode. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at InnerOrbitPod or email innerorbitpod@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a rating, review, or comment. We want to hear what you think, and your engagement goes a long way helping this podcast reach a wider audience. Thanks again for listening.